You're listening to the Third Down Squad podcast, the best international news podcast for the National Football League. We're your hosts, Derek, Josh, and Toby. Let's get you ready for a new set of downs on Sunday.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Third Down Squad podcast. Glad to be back here again. It is now 24 hours away officially from the Super Bowl. We're finally here, gentlemen. It's been a long NFL season. At the very beginning, we didn't think we would even have one, and yet here we are. God forbid something drastic happens, by tomorrow, which it almost did happen, okay? But we're still here. Anyone catch that news about the barber that almost got everybody on the Kansas City Chiefs sick? Oh man, dude, what a freaking relief. Right before they were about to go get their haircuts, that they tested him and he tested positive, so they kept him out of range. So they'll do last few tests tomorrow, but so far, nobody has come down with anything, at least not yet. There's been no spread or anything. So it looks like we're all good. We're all ready for another Super Bowl. But before we get into this Super Bowl, we want to talk about the two previous games before we got into this, which led to these two teams coming to the Super Bowl. And that would be the first game, which was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers upsetting the Green Bay Packers to basically clinch home field. They went into Lambeau, kicked the crap out of the Packers defense, and now Tom Brady's now going to his 10th Super Bowl after this defeat of the Packers. Toby, you had a few nice words to say about Green Bay before this podcast started. Why don't you go ahead and go first?
Yeah, I mean, I basically repeated the words that probably everybody in this game thought at the last couple of minutes in this game after Matt LaFleur decided to kick a field goal from the 8-yard line on 4th down when the Packers were down by 8 points, and I think everybody thought they would go for it on 4th down. No reason why you would give the ball back into Tom Brady's hands in a situation like that in a conference championship game, especially if you have Tom Brady on the other side. Maybe if you have a weaker opponent on the other side, which you probably won't have in a conference championship game, but especially if you have Tom Brady as your opposing quarterback, no way you're giving back the ball to him and hope that your defense that didn't really do that well the entire game will make a play on Tom Brady and get the ball back, and then have your offense make some great plays and get you back into the red zone and into scoring position once again. I just don't get it.
Also, two things. So first off, Toby was the only one that did not get a win on NFL Conference Championship weekend. He picked the Bills and the Packers, so unfortunate for him. But also one thing for us, just as BG alumni, and I can say that now because Josh is now a BG alumni officially. Mm-hmm. We're all rooting for our Falcons, Scotty Miller. We don't root for Tom Brady here, just saying that, but we do root for Scotty Miller. Congratulations to Scotty Miller on making to the Super Bowl, and being part of the offense too, not just being, a small piece of it. He's been a very vital piece to this offense for Tom Brady and this Buccaneers offense. So,
well, like I told you before, Tom Brady is a guy you do not want to give the football to at any portion of the game, especially during the last 3 minutes of the game, where you just kicked the field goal for no reason. And everybody kept giving Frank Reich flack for going for it on 4th down against the Bills. So yep. I want to tell you that this is why you go for it on 4th down against the top opponent, because you'll be put into this situation where if the Colts did kick a field goal in that, or made that field goal, I should say, then they would have pressed that team, the Bills, a lot better, and you would have given Josh Allen the ball back with 3 minutes left in the game. But if you went for that touchdown, they're going to be put into a spot where they actually feel threatened. So I just don't understand the play. To me, this is essentially throwing the football in the Super Bowl when you have Marshawn Lynch. You have Aaron Rodgers.
Very recent memories.
Yeah. You have Aaron Rodgers.
So one of the biggest blunders in Super Bowl history. We'll never quite understand why that decision was made. But go ahead.
And Josh, sorry, before you continue, we missed the beginning of your part because my Discord crashed at the beginning, and we're recording off my Discord stream, so we only got half of it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
fell
sure
apart for a few seconds.
I'm pretty sure people already know when I said Josh Allen and the Colts, they understood what they were saying. But Tom Brady is going to his 10th Super Bowl, where we were jokingly saying, hey, you guys want to go win a Super Bowl? And the Buccaneers went, okay, like that. And he just literally dragged them to the Super Bowl. But unlike LeBron James, when he first took the Cavs to the finals, he actually had weapons. And that's the one thing that the Patriots still do not have to this very day right now. That's why Tom Brady left.
What's the biggest reason why the Packers lost? Kevin King or Aaron Rodgers not running on that 3rd down? Let's be real here. I'm asking the real questions here.
Oh, geez.
I think it's Kevin King because when you give up 3 touchdowns by yourself, you played really trashy.
Yeah. Well,
Especially on that last touchdown of the first half, where Tom Brady just said, "Screw it, I'm gonna launch it up to Scotty Miller." And it was just perfect. Like, there wasn't even safety help on that side of the field. Like, why was there no help? And why were you playing press coverage on a guy that can run a 4-3 flat? And you're just saying, nope, I'm just going to guard on him as best I can when you were getting dominated by Mike Evans just a quarter earlier.
Dude, Scotty Miller, man, he breaks ankles and he takes me to the bank and cashes a check. Like, oh my gosh, he can turn on a dime and make change.
He's about to cash a check at some point here soon. He keeps playing the way he does. He keeps playing that way.
Yeah.
He's gonna catch a check pretty quick.
Is it safe to say that he's Wes Welker to Tom Brady again? Like he's Tom Brady's Wes Welker?
No, don't compare that. Don't compare.
I'm saying on the field. I'm saying on the field. I'm not saying he drops pills. I'm saying on the field.
Wes Welker was never the athlete that Scotty Miller was. Never. They're not even close. Scotty Miller is way more athletic. Scotty Miller is one of the most freakish athletes out there on the field right now. There's probably few players that can keep up with his speed. Just last week after that game, somebody posted a video of him during a track meet at BG one time. He caught up from 5th place all the way back to 1st place on the last turn. Like, this guy has some wheels, dude. Like, this guy can fly. I mean, let's be real here. He's not beating Tyreek Hill. He's not beating Tyreek. No way he's beating Tyreek. But
all right. You know. Real questions here. Is DK catching Tyreek Hill?
No, not at all. No. That's different. That's different. Budda Baker was tired at the end of that drive because they were going all the way down, and DK had a good running start. There's no way that DK was catching Tyreek after that. There's no way. Tyreek would have. You'd have to shoot Tyreek in the leg in order to be able to give DK Metcalf a shot to catch Tyreek Hill. But I think that'll do it for that game, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about this Chiefs versus Bills game. Despite the game being only 14 points, the game really seemed to be far out of reach for the Bills throughout most of this. Kansas City scored pretty quickly and often early, and then kind of just went on, basically let go of the throttle in that second half, but still maintained a 14-point win. I mean, there's really not much to even say about it because, you know, ultimately I expected this. Josh expected this, but you know, Toby didn't expect this, Josh didn't expect this. Josh picked the Bills. I was the only one that picked the Chiefs. So I sit here on this pedestal by myself on this one. So thank you guys. But guys, this was back to what I said from the very beginning here, that you know, until somebody actually finds an ingredient to slow down the Chiefs, it just seems like they're on coast at this point. They just really look like there is nobody that when they put their mind to it, when they play 100%, there's not a single team on this planet that is right at their level right now. It's literally like it's the high school varsity team playing against JV teams out there right now.
Yeah, and from my point why I picked the Bills last week, I thought the Chiefs usually had a problem in the first quarter or first half of the games where they usually started out slow, where the Bills could have taken advantage of it. But it looks like this season the Chiefs have found a way to start pretty well into the games. And like you said, Derek, they scored a lot early in the game. And that's a scary part if Patrick Mahomes doesn't even have to play from behind.
Josh, what do you think? What's your thoughts on that one?
The only way I can see them beating any team, really beating the Chiefs, is if the Chiefs just take their foot off the throttle, you know, because they're prone to doing that. Like they'll go heavy in the first half, but then slow down in the second half, only to, in the fourth quarter, finally go, oh yeah, we got to hit the throttle. And you got to just that's the thing though. Like the Chiefs, they're just built with speed and power with Tyreek Hill having the speed and Kelsey having the power. That's
not even just him, McCall Hardman. You got Dennis and you got Watkins. All of these wideouts are running 4.4s, 4.3s. I mean, there is no lack of speed anywhere for these guys.
Yeah, and when you have Patrick Mahomes, he's just slinging it like Brett Favre, but more accurately. That's what you're going to get.
More accurately and exclamation points. Yeah. And the funny thing is, too, we've seen it. Like, there is no lead comfortable enough for against Kansas City. There is none. In the fourth quarter, the San Francisco 49ers had a 14-point lead going into that quarter with the ball, too. And even with the Texans, and midway through the second quarter, end up having a 24-0 lead, and then Kansas City scores 8 straight touchdowns. Or it's actually 7. Let me get that straight. As if that's not any more impressive. 7 straight touchdowns. I mean, these guys show when they care, there's just nobody on their level.
Yeah, it's essentially we're looking at a new dynasty that's like the 1990s Chicago Bulls at this point, where all they're going to do is just build around Mahomes, and that's what you got to do.
All you got to do is give him speed. Just give him speed, guys, and then it works. Yeah. It's literally like Madden. It's literally Madden. If you just can't catch up with the speed, then it just doesn't matter. And, I mean, the crazy part is it's the funny stat that they brought up. Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski are the same age. Can you believe that? They're the same age. You wouldn't know it based off of how they play because, I mean, Travis Kelce is, the number 1 tight end, and he just doesn't seem to slow down at all. I mean, he's just getting there, and there's just nothing slowing him down. And there's just Andy Reid just being a genius, and everything that just goes on with the Chiefs right now just makes you think. I mean, it really does. Josh, you brought up a great example. It gets to the point where are they going to get so tired of it to the point where they just start throwing games? I mean, they might just start doing that now because it's just to the point where they really don't care. I mean, it gets to that point because, Jordan got tired after a while of winning with Scottie Pippen. How long until Patrick Mahomes gets tired of it? He's 24 years old, and he's going to his second. He's going to his second Super Bowl already, and it just doesn't seem to be any reason to slow him down at this point. I mean, he might get halfway through that extension before he just decides, I'm just going to call it quits, y'all. I've shown you how great I am.
Would it be possible for Patrick Mahomes to retire his 5th year into his new deal after winning all those games?
Yeah.
Let's say hypothetically, Patrick Mahomes calls it a career 5 years into his new 10-year deal. Are you faulting him for retiring because he gets bored or anything like that?
If he wins 7 straight Super Bowls, then I'm saying no. I don't blame him at all. It might just get boring.
I'd understand it if he wins 5 in a row and he just says, "Okay, I won 5 in a row. I'm done now." Even before he's 30.
I've done something Tom Brady couldn't do. I'm just saying. Well, that's the games, guys, from last week. Josh, you got something to say there?
And Kelsey. So if you had to take a tight, we good? All right. If you got to take a tight end with no Mahomes or Brady, which tight end are you grabbing?
Are we talking?
If you had to choose between Gronk
and Kelsey.
Oh, I'm taking Kelsey every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, because Gronkowski's a good tight end right now, but I mean, you've seen how much slower he's gotten. I mean, you could make an argument if you wanted to say prime Rob versus prime Kelsey, because Kelsey at this moment in time is still in his prime. Even at 32 years old, he's still playing at a very, very high level. So, if we had prime Gronk, then maybe I can make the argument that it's prime Gronk because of everything that I get from him. But Kelsey at this moment is just head over heels better than everyone else. Yep. So They got the fastest receiver in football. They got the best tight end in football. They got the best quarterback in football. They got the most genius head coach in all of football. I mean, just how much more do you want?
Yeah,
Can you imagine-
decent O-line, decent running back. They have it all in Kansas City and offensively.
Yeah. Can you imagine if they drafted Jonathan Taylor instead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire? How that would go?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, and not even Helaire was doing really well to start the season, but then just started getting, hurt. And that was the ultimate knock this last season, is just because he was hurt all the time. But yeah, I mean, just imagine Jonathan Taylor in that offense. I mean, holy cow. We saw what he was able to do in the Colts offense. I can only imagine him trying to do the same with Kansas City. That would be insane. All right, let's go on to the one piece of news that we have outside of Super Bowl predictions, which we'll get to after this. But big news, Matt Stafford got traded, and it wasn't to the Indianapolis Colts like a majority of people thought was actually going to happen.
Derek, you should have let off with this. Jared Goff's career is done. Let's find out more on why it is.
Oh my gosh, it's like a news segment. More on Jared Goff's future downfall tonight at 7:00. It's like, look. I'm gonna give Jared Goff the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it had to make sense. Probably would make sense that they're gonna rebuild. They got some draft picks now to do that. I mean, this trade was blockbusterous for a lot of reasons. I mean, the last time that the Rams drafted in the first round was in 2016 when they drafted Jared Goff. And they're not going to get to draft in the first round again for another 3 years unless they trade back into the first round for somebody, which I don't know how they're going to do that because, they've given away all their draft compensation. I mean, look, I understand the aspect of it that, you feel like your roster is complete enough that if you trade away your draft assets to get the guys that you think help give you the chance to win the Super Bowl now, then I get it. If the Rams win a Super Bowl under Matt Stafford's tenure, then it was worth it. It was worth giving up those draft picks to say, we went to the Super Bowl, we won, this is what we went out to do this for. I get that. That makes total sense. But if the Rams don't make it to the Super Bowl or don't win a Super Bowl, then it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth any of this. It was completely worthless to do all of these trades for your draft picks and say, I get the point of it, but it just didn't work out for the guys that you got. And, Detroit got a load. What was it? Their first rounder in 2022 and their first rounder in 2023. They couldn't give up their first rounder this year because they didn't have one because they gave it up for Jalen Ramsey just last year. So, you get 2 future first rounders. You're still going to draft in the top 7, at least at this moment, until maybe somebody trades up. I've heard that the Colts have been talking about potentially doing that, moving into the top 7 to get a quarterback. But you're getting more picks, and you also got a 3rd round draft pick out of that for this year's draft. And on top of that, you get Jared Goff. So you're just trading quarterbacks, but you also got 3 very good draft picks out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you see that? Yeah. Did you see that Matthew Stafford and McVay were in Cabo or something like that at the exact same time? They got the information that he was traded to them and they met up for dinner. Did you see that?
Did see that.
Yeah. But remember, we have to talk about the fact that if Matthew Stafford did not play this year with this Detroit team, that this Detroit team would be drafting first and drafting Trevor Lawrence if he did not play. Plain and simple. So to think that now I'm pretty sure Jared Goff will do an okay job in Detroit, but he's inheriting the worst Detroit team since the time they went 0-16. And that 0-16 team had a better defense when it came to points differential than this one.
Yeah, it was probably a better offense as well, talent-wise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I just don't get... That's when they drafted Matthew Stafford. I believe. Was the year after that 0-16 season. So to think that Jared Goff will just walk into this Detroit team and instantly like turning it into like an 8-8 team is a huge understatement. I'm glad that the Detroit Lions got those 2 first-round picks from the Rams to help bolster that team, but that team has a lot of work to do. And to inherit that huge contract of Jared Goff's is going to hold you still for quite a while. But now we move on to Stafford, where, yes, he kept this team from going 0-16, but he has a horrible record against teams with a winning record.
Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily hold that completely on him. I mean, his teams have been trash. He's had to come back from behind a lot of times. And let's not forget that the reason that Detroit or that the Rams took that contract was because of the fact that the Detroit threw in that other first just to be able to take on that contract, right? Because you're right. He's getting paid what was it? $34 million a year, I think was right about what that was.
But the contract numbers are about the same for Stafford and Goff. They don't really, there's not much different between the twos right now.
Yeah, just one's just older than the other. So, you get a chance to, a 26-year-old Jared Goff, you'd see what you got with him the next couple years, see if you start winning some games. And I think that's ultimately the reason why I don't think Kenny Golladay is going to end up leaving in free agency. I think they might just tag him because, they need a wideout. They need somebody to help out with Jared Goff, and Kenny Golladay is the next best thing. So, yeah, I mean, it was a really weird trade. And Cody and I reacted to that right after it. I mean, Colts fans were in shock because we're like, where the hell did the Rams come from? They came out of nowhere. Like they weren't even a team that was even in consideration 48 hours before that. And then all of a sudden here they come because they threw in 3 picks and a player to do it. So of course the Colts weren't going to do that.
I can see. All right. Speaking of the Colts here, I know we're kind of like diverging. I can see them trading this year's first and next year's first pick to get into the top, the top 7, like you said.
They might have to give up more than that. They might have to give up more than that. More. Maybe.
I mean, like the Colts, I know Chris Ballard can turn, like water into wine and stuff like that when it comes to draft picks, Yeah. And so I'm not worried about giving up, like a first rounder this year and next year, because I know that all our talent has been found in the second and beyond. So
a lot of our talent has been that way. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
But if we do move up in this one, I do hope we get a quarterback, but I also hope we get a left tackle since Costanzo retired. But I hope we do get a quarterback, either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or whoever, somebody. We need somebody.
There's some left tackles that are available in free agency, I've heard. Trent Williams is a name that everybody keeps bringing up. He's older, but he's still very talented, and, he's going to want a decent paycheck. The Colts could say if they get the quarterback that they want and they want to go all out, Trent Williams might be the guy at least for a year or two. And then, there's Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown said he doesn't want to play right tackle for the Ravens anymore because he wants to be a left tackle, and they're not going to be able to pay him or put him where he wants because Ronnie Stanley is there. So, Orlando Brown's going to be on the market here in free agency. So the Colts could swoop in on that. You might have to pay him for, a payday, a pretty decent payday, but he's a young, very talented tackle. I mean, that's a guy that you could put at left tackle for the future. But we'll get into those. That's free agency news. We'll talk about that here in a little bit later. But guys, let's talk here about the Super Bowl. This is the game. This is it. This is the decider of the 2020 NFL season, the craziest NFL season that I think we can all agree in our lifetimes. And we're here, boys. Let's do this. So, the Kansas City Chiefs as the visiting team versus the home team and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They really are the home team because they're going to be playing in Tampa Bay. So, we're going to see we might see some favoritism in the stands, maybe a little bit. The 25,000 fans, I think that they said that they're going to have. So that's not too bad.
A Super Bowl low
the reason they're
Yep.
able to do 25,000 is because it's in Florida. That's it.
Yep.
Because Florida's got some of the lowest restrictions on COVID related policies and then any other state, which is great. I wish I lived in Florida right now, to be honest. Get out of this cold and stop having to worry about 2 masks. But anyway, let's go into this. So, Toby, who do you got as the winner of this Super Bowl?
As much as I would love to have a Falcon who actually contributes on offense for a Super Bowl winning team, I like I said, I don't want Tom Brady to have another ring on his finger. And we talked about it before. When the Chiefs play like they do right now and go all in from the first minute of the game till the last second, it's tough to beat them. So I think it's the Chiefs' game to lose, and one reason I think that is because the last 2 games for the Buccaneers where they looked really strong were against Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers, 2 older quarterbacks, especially with Drew Brees and not. I mean, Rodgers is a decent mobile quarterback, but Patrick Mahomes in that regard, if he gets pressured, is definitely on another level than Aaron Rodgers, and that's something where Tampa Bay was pretty good in the last 2 games, but they're going to have a tough time to bring down Patrick Mahomes and get the pressure on him that it needs to make Patrick Mahomes throw bad throws.
All right, so we got Chiefs for the Mr. Toby over here. Mr. Josh, why don't you go ahead and tell us who do you got winning the Super Bowl, man?
Man,
I feel like I know where he's going with this. I feel like I know it.
all right.
You know you want to.
I'm not gonna say it. Hold on. Let me
Yeah.
get to
Okay.
it.
All right.
Well, you know
Yeah,
what they say. They the Chiefs, man. They're on a whole nother level. But so's Tom Brady. We gotta take that into effect.
No.
We have to take into effect that
No,
the Chiefs do not have their 2 tackles.
Aaron Rodgers outplayed his ass so hard.
But here's the thing, Derek. You can't get to Mahomes if he's slinging it. Give me the Chiefs for a repeat.
All right, there we go. All right, sweet. I'm sticking with the freaking repeat as well. It's gonna be the freaking Chiefs, man. I can't go back on my word here. Now, I will say this. I do think the Buccaneers do have a formula in place that will allow them to keep this game close. I think they can definitely keep this game going for a couple reasons. One, the Buccaneers have Tom Brady, okay? They may lack Super Bowl experience versus what the Chiefs do, but Tom Brady has more Super Bowl experience than the rest of these guys combined. Tom Brady, at the most important position, knows what it's like to be in this stage, how to get prepared, how to be ready and get your mind focused. So I think that is a contributing factor. And
I will say, sorry, Derek, keep going.
all right,
But I would say,
just go.
I'll say this though: the Buccaneers have arguably the best linebacker core with Shaq Barrett, Devin White, and Levante David. So I think they're going to be the decisive factor on defense on how to slow down this Kansas City team. Because if all 3 of them are playing, which I believe they all are, they're going to be able to they're the anchor to that defense. Without them, they're nothing.
Oh, yeah, because they got speed and they got ability to get pressure on Mahomes, which you have to do. You cannot allow Patrick Mahomes to sit back there and do whatever he wants, because if you don't do that, if you do allow him to sit back there, it's going to be a long night for Tampa Bay. They're never going to stop him. That's the other thing, too, with Tampa Bay is I think they can run the football. They've shown that they can consistently run the football at a relatively decent pace. So, again, keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, the less time he has to impact the game. It's how San Francisco did it at the very beginning there. They just couldn't sustain it. But I think Tampa Bay could sustain that more, though.
Yep.
Do you think Tampa Bay is looking at the Colts-Packers game? Because it's going to be almost identical to how they're going to have to play to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yep.
You keep the best player on the field, which is Patrick Mahomes. You keep him off the field. And the way you keep him off the field, you stay on the field with your offense as long as you possibly can. You drive these drives out. They 7, 8 minutes on drives are killer for an opposing offense coming into a stadium like this and an environment like this.
Yeah, they definitely have to try and get close to 40 minutes of time of possession in this game to have a chance to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and
right,
that's going to do it for that one. Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Before we end this, who do we have, heads or tails, for the coin flip? Because I saw a lot of people are betting a lot of money on that coin flip. Are you going to call it heads or tails?
Tails.
I'll do heads. Give me heads.
All right. And one more question for the Super Bowl. Some say maybe the biggest question of them all. What's your choice of beverage and food to watch the Super Bowl?
Oh man, I got walking tacos and chili dogs tomorrow, man.
Oh,
well, I'm gonna be shitting up a storm,
man. I either go pizza or wings. It usually depends on, what the circumstance follows, but I think I'm going to have my brother tomorrow, so we'll probably end up getting some pizza. It's pizza, and I don't know what I would normally drink for the Super Bowl. This time around, though, I'm not going to be drinking pop. I'm still on a diet. I've been doing really good of not drinking pop since about 2 weeks now, so I've done pretty good with that. I think I'm going to try to continue to keep that going. So
when did you do that? When you were here, you had a Coke, man. You had
congratulations. Ever since I
started
you, I haven't done anything, man. Jeez. It's been 10 days. Jeez. Give me a
Holy
break.
Shit, dude. Dude,
10
literally,
days.
it felt like last week you were here. It literally felt like last week you were here.
Yeah, I know it did because
ridiculous.
this last week went by really freaking fast. But yeah, I'm gonna do my best to try not to drink as much pop. I might do it tomorrow just because it's a special occasion.
Yep.
It's a big day, but outside of that, I'll probably just avoid it.
I'm going to grab the official beer of the NFL and Bud Light. It tastes like goat piss, but
no.
There you go. I'm
Get
gonna
some Coors Light. I got a Coors. I actually will drink that tomorrow. I'll drink a Coors Light tomorrow. That'll be for me.
All right. I'm into Camp Corona myself, as you guys already know.
Oh, yes.
So,
yep, we know.
And
we know
food-wise, I got myself a nice little steak and some ribs, so
I may be going
tomorrow.
I might be going to a steakhouse tomorrow for lunch. I think I'm wanting to do that. So
is it Dietz? Isn't that Dietz down there?
No, it's not Dietz. Oh man.
I remember he was hyping me up when I went down to his place for the first time. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get awesome barbecue from this local place. We pull up to a Dietz and I go, I got one of those in Rossford. It's not that special.
Wait, what are you talking about for me?
What? Yeah, when I first went down to your place when you first moved to Kentucky, you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna grab some barbecue,
it's
man.
City Barbecue. There's no Dietz here. What are you talking about? It's City Barbecue.
City Barbecue, that's right. I got that in Rossford, man.
Whatever. You don't got no City Barbecue over in Rossford. You lying sack of shit. Oh man. You can't deny it wasn't good though. You can't deny it wasn't good though.
I'm not saying it was fantastic. Dude, remember. Hey, before we leave this podcast, remember listeners, they can't catch you slipping when you're dripping. Keep that drip looking good, man.
Oh my God. I don't know how to even respond to that after this. We're just gonna end it now. Thank you guys so much. I don't even know. Okay, yeah, just like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what to do. As always, guys.
Dude, I like having these late night. I like having these late night things later. I like having the late podcasts.